DaCara Thompson's parents just want her home.
It's been hard. It's been hard.
Silence. That's the first word that comes to mind when people think about this case. Silence from Dara's phone. Silence from people who might know more than they're saying. And silence from those who should have protected her. But behind that silence, a story is unraveling, a story so disturbing that it leaves more questions than answers. Let's walk through it step by step. On August 22nd, 19-year-old Dara Thompson was last seen by her father. Later that evening, she texted him saying she was just going to get gas and would be back soon. But soon never came. By the next day, she still hadn't returned home. Her family grew worried quickly.
Under investigation, it appears that DaCara willfully entered a vehicle being driven by Hugo Rene Hernandez Mendez, 35-year-old male, out of Bowie, Maryland.
Because Dara was the youngest of 5 siblings, and they were close. They all shared their locations with each other using the Find My Phone app. So, when Dara didn't answer calls and her location stopped updating, alarm bells went off. By August 24th, family members tracked the last signal from her phone to an intersection in Hyattsville. They found her car parked there, in front of a fire hydrant. Her purse was still inside. That detail alone raises so many red flags. Who leaves their purse behind at 3 in the morning, especially when getting into someone else's vehicle? Was she in such a rush that she thought she'd be right back? Or did she trust the person she was meeting enough to feel safe leaving her things? Then came
to the scene. We did discover that all of her personal belongings were in her car, such as her purse, her credit card, her debit cards. She even had $60 cash.
The heartbreaking discovery. On August 31st, police responded to a call about a disabled vehicle near a bridge in Annapolis. Beneath that bridge, on the embankment of the South River, they found a body. Days later, the family was called in. Through tattoos, jewelry, and eventually medical findings, they confirmed what no family wants to hear. It was Dara. She had severe injuries, including fractures to her face and skull. Her life had been stolen in the most brutal way imaginable. But what happened in the hours between her leaving her car and her body being discovered? Surveillance footage provided some answers and sparked even more questions. At around 3:06 a.m. on August 23rd, Dara was captured on camera walking away from her SUV. She was seen heading down Riggs Road toward University Boulevard. In the video, she approaches a black GMC Yukon Denali, speaks briefly with the driver, then climbs into the passenger seat. That SUV was traced back to a man named Hugo Hernandez Mendez. Now, here's where the situation gets even darker. Authorities say when they searched Hugo's home, they found disturbing evidence. Blood believed to be Dara's, a missing fake fingernail matching hers, strands of hair, a wig, and multiple pieces of women's underwear and lingerie that didn't belong to Dara. It wasn't just evidence of violence. It painted the picture of someone who might have been collecting trophies. Even more unsettling, Hugo didn't live alone. Family members and roommates were inside that same house on the night Dara vanished. One cousin told police she couldn't believe her relative could be involved in something so horrific, but she also admitted Hugo's behavior had shifted in recent weeks. She even urged him to confess. Another roommate gave a chilling statement. They claimed they heard Dara and Hugo together, followed by strange grunting noises that made them believe something wasn't right. Later, when they noticed Hugo's SUV was gone at an unusual hour, their suspicion grew. Still, there's a lingering question. Did those inside the house know more than they're admitting? Were they silent out of loyalty, fear, or to protect themselves? Their testimonies leave gaps that investigators are still trying to fill. Then there's Hugo's past. Long before Dara's name became linked to his, he already had a record. Multiple DUIs, driving with an open container, unsafe lane changes, ignoring traffic signals, and even driving on a suspended license. It shows a man with a reckless disregard for rules and safety. And yet, despite his record and his status as an undocumented immigrant, he was still walking free, still driving, still able to interact with unsuspecting people like Dara. How was he allowed to slip through the cracks of the system over and over again? The circumstances of Dara's last night are equally puzzling. Why did she leave her SUV in such an obvious spot? Was she planning a quick trip, believing she'd be back before anyone noticed? Did Hugo lure her with promises of safety, or did she know him well enough to let her guard down? Was her phone deliberately turned off to stop tracking? These aren't small details, they're crucial pieces of a mystery that feels more like a nightmare. And the theories haven't stopped. Some believe Hugo may be connected to other disappearances in the area. Days after Dara's body was discovered, another person, a father, was found dead under suspicious circumstances. Could this be the work of one man? And what about the underwear and lingerie reportedly found in his room? Were they souvenirs or evidence of other victims? Meanwhile, the conversation online has spiraled into debates about race, justice, and media coverage. Some argue that if Dara's death had fit into a certain narrative, organizations like BLM might have made more noise. Others have speculated, without evidence, that Dara may have been engaging in risky behavior, which only adds insult to her family's grief. Regardless of the rumors, one fact remains: Dara was a 19-year-old young woman whose life was brutally cut short. She deserved safety, respect, and justice. The timeline of Hugo's actions is also chilling. Investigators believe that after Dara was killed inside his bedroom, he calmly loaded her body into his vehicle, drove along Route 50, and dumped her over the bridge as if she were nothing. That kind of coldness is hard to even imagine. And yet, people were inside the house when it happened. They heard noises. They noticed things. But somehow, they stayed silent. Today, Hugo faces charges of first and second-degree murder. Federal immigration authorities have also placed a detainer on him, labeling him a criminal illegal alien. His arrest has rippled through his family, with at least one cousin's husband being detained by immigration agents, though his wife insists he had no involvement in the crime. It's a web of secrets, fear, and unanswered questions. For Dara's family, the loss is indescribable. They had hope when she was first reported missing. They tracked her phone, they prayed for her safe return, they begged for answers. Instead, they were left with grief and the horrific reality of how she died. The youngest of 5 siblings is now gone, and the hole left in that family will never heal completely. What's haunting is that this case is still unraveling. We don't yet know if Hugo acted alone, if his relatives are hiding more than they admit, or if other victims are connected to him. But one thing is clear: Dara's story has forced people to confront uncomfortable truths. About safety, about justice, about the systems that fail to protect young women. So, what really happened that night? Did Dara willingly meet Hugo, thinking she'd be back home within minutes? Did he deceive her, or was this pre-planned from the beginning? Were the people in that house silent witnesses to something unimaginable? And is this just the surface of something even bigger and darker? At the end of the day, this story isn't just about a single crime. It's about the questions that linger when justice feels incomplete. Dara's case is chilling not only because of what happened to her, but because of how easily it could happen again. Her story leaves us unsettled. It makes us look at the silence of her phone, the silence of those who lived under the same roof as her alleged killer, and the silence of systems that should have intervened sooner. And until every question is answered, that silence will echo louder than ever.